Alright, in this problem we want to find the limit as x approaches 16 of the square root of 17 minus x minus 1 over 4 minus the square root of x. So in this, if we plug in 16, we're going to get 0 over 0, which is indeterminate. Now it's hard to know where to start because we have a radical and two terms in the numerator and a radical and two terms in the denominator. So there's really two equally valid things to try here, which would be to multiply by the conjugate of either the numerator or the denominator. And there are other things you could do as well. Those are just, in my opinion, the two most obvious ways to start. So I'm going to try multiplying by the conjugate of, let's go with the denominator over itself first and see what happens. So I'm going to multiply this by 4 plus root x over itself. And so let's add parentheses everywhere. Okay, now I only want to simplify if it's going to really simplify. Otherwise, we want to leave it factored. So in other words, my numerator, I think, would be a bad idea to FOIL that because it's not going to become more simple if I FOIL it. It's going to become more complex. So I'm going to leave it as root of 17 minus x minus 1 times 4 plus root x. In my denominator, when we FOIL, we get 4 times 4 is 16. My outside and my inside terms cancel. And then for my last term, I have negative root x times positive root x is minus x. Okay, so we're making progress, maybe. Now the goal in doing that is so that hopefully something simplifies. Nothing really simplifies just yet the way it's written. So I think what I'm going to do next is multiply by the conjugate of the numerator as well, of that radical right there, and see what happens. And there may be an easier way. If someone has found an easier way, you're welcome to post it. This is just what I see to do. Okay, so I'm going to multiply all of that by the conjugate of this radical because I'm not seeing much that simplifies right now. I think that these things would simplify somehow if I played around with it, but I think it'll be easier to just multiply by the conjugate. Okay, add parentheses. So now what I want to do is in the numerator, I'm only going to FOIL together these two terms which are going to simplify, which is this one. I'm going to FOIL that with this one. I'm going to leave this 4 plus root x out front. Okay, so FOILing together the two highlighted versions, we've got root of 17 minus x times root of 17 minus x. The radicals go away, so we get 17 minus x. Then the outside and the inside terms cancel. And then my last term is minus 1. And let's leave the denominator factored. Okay, 17 minus 1 is 16. So that cancels with that. Those are the same. Let's see, and now maybe we can go ahead and plug in 16. We can try it and see what happens. So if I plug in 16 for that x there and this x here, we would get 4 plus the root of 16 over the square root of 17 minus 16 plus 1. Okay, you don't get a 0 on top or bottom, so I think that's going to work. You just need to simplify that to get a number for your answer.